Hey, sup guys, hope you're all good and well. Wintrinsic coming at you once more with another build guide, this time for Bunny. So we got 4 builds to showcase to you today. The first one is going to be the 400% dungeon, which is all about speed and power, getting through it as quickly as possible. You're going to be able to do this in solo or group play, whichever tickles your pickle. From there, we're going to move on to a speed farming build, so just key target farming areas with infinite mana uptime, being able to get that done as fast as you can. Happy days. For the boss builds, I've got kind of a legacy boss build, and then we're going to move on to a Gluttony and Deathstalker build, which is more about high arsenal and more of a support role. Really great build, works really effectively. If this all sounds of interest, stick around, and without further ado, let's go take a look at the first build. So first up, we have our 400% dungeon. The objective here was to look into a build that I could do the maximum amount of damage, good MP recovery, and good survivability. Really pleased with the way the build has turned out. The weapon that I'm going to be using is Enduring Legacy for the 400% dungeons. We'll take a look at the reactor of choice. So I've gone with skill cooldown and electric skill power boost. Other roles that you could entertain is a pairing of electric skill power and singular skill power. That is highly recommended, or more so on the skill cooldown and skill duration up. These are all great roles that you can get on your reactor. The build that I've accustomed this to is skill cooldown and electric skill power boost ratio. For the components, I've gone with the Slayer set. If you can get some sort of MP recovery across the board on these, brilliant. It's going to make your life so much easier. But this is what I recommend. Go with the Slayer component set for the 400% dungeon. So for this build, the Transcendent mod of choice is going to be high voltage. The idea and principle is pretty straightforward. We're building up electricity using speed of light. Once we have enough electricity, we are then proccing lightning emission, which is going to let off bolts of electricity at the adds. The faster we go, the more bolts, the more damage, more adds are getting taken out. Exactly what we want. This is then further complemented with Decimator. So again, the idea here is to get those maximum stacks. So once you go up against elites and bosses, you're going to do the maximum amount of damage and take them out a lot quicker. Happy days. For our battle and attack mods, we've gone with the skill power in power increase as a separate additive. This works really well and does more damage. And then we've got focus on singular. So again, that singular skill power modifier increase and skill cooldown. For our luck and our strike mods, we've gone with the amplification mods. So this is a 0 crit build. We're going for that raw damage. Really great for 400% dungeons. For the rest of the build, it's more about getting extra cooldown and increasing the range to do those bolts. And then lastly, MP collector. So when we're killing them, we're getting a chance to get some recovery in our max MP. In this case, 12.2%. So overall, let's have a look at the applied value. So again, singular skill power modifier of 129.5%. We're getting a skill cooldown reduction of 31.7%. We don't have to worry about our skill crit hit rate and effect range. Max shield 36.5 on top of our components. Skill power is 65%. 218.5% increase on our components when it comes to max HP. And then electric skill power 65.4%. And there you have it, a nice quick breakdown on the 400% dungeon build. Give it a go, apply it, see what you think. I thoroughly enjoy it. I hope you do too. With that said, let's go move on to the farming build. Okay then, so this build overview will be nice and quick, just like Bunny herself. A lot remains unchanged in terms of the weapon, reactor and components. I'm still rocking Enduring Legacy. You can use absolutely anything you want. Just make sure that it's linked to the reactor so you're getting that additional skill power. For my reactor, same as the 400% build, skill cooldown and electric skill power modifier is what I've gone for. For the components, still the Slayer set, so we get that 26.1% skill power. It is a little bit overkill, but we love big numbers, so it remains the same. For the Descendant modules, the Transcendent mod of choice is Electric Condense. This is great fun, it's a bit different. Basically, you go into a large crowd of adds, you charge it up, I think it's 5 seconds. And then you just nuke everything in the proximity. I think it does something like 1.6, 1.7 damage, so it's good fun. For the battle and attack mods, I've gone both focus, so focus on singular and focus on electric. So again, that's electric skill power and singular skill power modifiers, and we're also getting additional skill cooldown. Notable change being energy collection, so we're trying to encourage MP recovery a bit more because we're constantly out on the field, running, zapping everything. We're still going with MP Collector, so that is keeping our mana uptime consistent. And we've gone with Maximize Range, but we're taking a hit on the Skill Power modifier. But this build is overkill for its, for its purpose. So quick applied values. So singular Skill Power modifier of 129.5%, Skill Cooldown of 37.8%, MP Recovery of 57.7%. We're getting our Electrical Skill Power up to 142.6%, Skill Effect Range of 186.7%, and then we have Max HP at 122.3% off of our components, and Skill Duration increase of 8.8%. So there you go, there's my farming build. Go out there, have some fun with it, blow some stuff up with Electric Condense, get your goodies, happy days. Right then, let's go take a look at the boss builds. Okay, so let's talk about the Legacy boss build. First and foremost, this is not a speed farming build. Unfortunately, Bunny lacks the minerals to take bosses out in 4 to 8 seconds. It's just not possible. You're looking at sub 2 minutes for 3 out of the first 4 bosses. With Devourer about sub 12, 14 seconds. That's about it really. However, this build will comfortably get you all the way up to Molten Fortress. You will contribute damage, you will survive, you will do your part. So continuing on with the theme, when it comes to our weapon, our reactor and components, I'm still rocking Enduring Legacy for this. With the components, I am still using Slayer for that 26.1%. I haven't really got a great reactor. I have been using additional skill attack when attacking Colossus with singular skill power. I've yet to meld Enduring Legacy on a good one yet, but what I would recommend is if you can get electrical skill power boost ratio and additional skill attack when attacking Colossus, I think that'll set you in a really good spot, so that's what I recommend. Okay, so let's blast through the build. The first thing I want to point out is merely a recommendation or a consideration. If or if not, you should actually invest in this build. Personally, I think maybe wait for the Deathstalker Gluttony build, which will come up after this. The only reason I say that is you're going to have to invest in additional slots, the Almandine slots, and this is to cover your skill concentration, insight, you've got front lines and emergency measures as well, to get that additional skill critical hit rate and skill critical hit damage. So just consider that, because you're going to have to invest more into it. If you've got the Crystal Catalyst and this is something that you want to add to your Bunny portfolio, so be it. But I just wanted you to consider it prior, that's all, because there's nothing worse than putting into a build and then you're struggling to take out the legacy bosses. You're doing okay in group play, absolutely fine in group play, but there are better, investments that could be made if you want to focus on like speed farming or getting through those bosses a little bit quicker. Sorry, bit of a rant, but I'm just thinking about you guys, that's all. Okay, so just consider it. So to summarize this build quickly, it's all about increasing our skill critical hit damage, our skill critical hit rate, so our ticks of electric are doing more damage or a higher chance of doing more damage. We've also got Dangerous Ambush as well to take advantage. Once we down the Colossus, we're going to do more damage that way. If we're in group play and they're not targeting on us, we're going to do more damage also. There is an element of increased HP and increased defense for survivability. And then we have our skill expansion as well, so the range is improved, so we're keeping a safe distance from the Colossus and being able to do a little bit more damage. Other things to note, we're sticking with focus on singular and focus on electric, so we're getting that skill cooldown on top of the skill power and skill power modifiers. And that's really it, to say about the build. I mean, the applied value, short and sweet. So we've got our singular skill power modifier at 68.2, we've got a skill cooldown at 12.2%, skill effect range of 92.3%, with our skill critical hit damage and critical hit rate both sitting at 207.7%. Electric skill power at 77.2%, defense 160.4% on top of our components, and max HP at 218.5 on top of our components. So that is this build in a nutshell. Have a good think about it. It's okay, it does the job, gets you, like I said, all the way up to Molten Fortress. You see a bit of footage at the bottom anyway, seeing all the bosses being played out. See what you think, consider it. With that done, let's get on to the final build. Okie dokie, it's time to review the Gluttony Deathstalker build. So, few things changed here, predominantly the components. The weapon remains the same Enduring Legacy. We're going to be using this a lot more than we have in the previous builds. Yeah, we're more focused now on firearm attack. Our skill damage or skill power or skills in general are more focused on ad control now. When it comes to the components, I've purely focused on getting the max HP. Which I think is 646. You can see 646 on each of the components. If you can get your MP recovery in, out, etc., that's also great, or even shield recovery. The only recommendation I would suggest is getting some form of toxin resistance, which you can get on your processor. I got it at 3828. You can then stack that on other modifiers. But yeah, definitely recommend that one. For the reactor, we're not really bothered about additional damage to Colossus as one of the roles. I've continued using skill cooldown and electric skill power boost. Feel free to use whatever you want, what you think will benefit you most with. But yeah, this works perfectly fine and it's something I recommend still. So in this build, we've made a change to our Transcendent mod. We're now moving over to Bionic Fuel. In essence, Bionic Fuel uses HP to consistently keep your runtime, so you're constantly running, constantly sprinting, gaining electricity. Because we're doing away with HP thanks to Overwhelming Shield, this is something that we don't have to worry about. So we will continually keep running. We'll have a really strong shield, and we'll be able to do her 4th ability Lightning Emission as well, constantly. The idea here, even though we've got great cooldown, so every time the ability runs out, we can, our cooldown will have refreshed. Our main focus is to take out ads. When there's a cluster of ads, or if one of your teammates is in trouble, you can proc it and take them out quickly and effectively. That is the premise here. But yeah, quick overview on the Transcendent mod and why we're using it. So with this, we've gone for the power increase on battle again, so we're taking an additional additive with skill power. And then we've got focus on singular, just to get that little bit of cooldown whilst getting the singular skill power modifier. We've gone with Stim Accelerant to get additional HP to transfer that over into our shield. And we've also gone with increased shield, which we haven't done before. So getting that maximum shield up, I'll go through the numbers for it in a moment. Skill expansion as well, so we're getting that range. I think, for instance, Deathstalker, she kind of fires these skull missiles up in the air, and then they turn into rings of death on the ground. So the idea is as soon as she shoots them off, you can jump up in the air, zap them and take them out, so you're protecting all your team, which is really great. So you need a good range to get them all in one go. Again, going with the amplification mod, so electric amplification and singular amplification, and then working on a little bit of cooldown with nimble fingers. And that is it in a nutshell. You could see it all playing out down below. It should be coming close to the end of that now. So while that's happening, I'll go through the applied values. So with our singular skill power modifier now at 129.5%. Again, the skill cooldown 31.7. Electric skill power 65.4. Skill power 65%. Skill effect range 92.3%. And our max P and max MP, well, our HP increased by 234% on what we got on our components, and we're taking a little hit on the MP. Our max shield has been increased by 151.9% of our components. Whew, so there you go. 4 brilliant builds for Bunny. I hope you have fun trying them out and you implement them into your builds. I hope you enjoy as much as I do. I think it's great. Really looking forward to trying them out when Season 2 comes about. I'm going to start looking into a couple of other builds now as well. I did start working on Glay, but oh my god, Glay is in a rough spot at the moment. So it's really trying to figure out, is she worth the run and gun, or do we stick to skill abilities? Bossing, not so bad. 400% dungeons, a bit meh, but I'm trying something, and if I think it's appealing, I'll share it with you guys for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That brings us to the end of the Bunny build guide. I hope it's been extensive enough for you, and I would really appreciate to hear your comments. Drop us a message what you think. If you think there should be any improvements, what you like, what you dislike. I'm easy Ozy either way. I'm quite new to this, so always looking to improve. Drop us a like if it's been of interest. Your subscriptions would be hugely appreciated. It helps me grow the channel and get my videos out to more people. Anyway, enough of that. I'm going to call it a day. Look forward to my next video. And yeah, have yourselves a great day, and look forward to sharing new content with you in the future. Have a great one, everyone.